Hey, hey you, on the couch, or the bed chair thing. Did you click on this video wanting to be a pro builder? Tired of your friends making fun of the square wood house you're always making on the server? Well, that's all about to change. Welcome to the Cannibal Crab's Down and Dirty Building Lessons. Today, we're building the Teen Titan Tower. As you can see behind us, this build is pretty sweet. And if you want to learn how to build it, just keep on listening. This will give you some tips and tricks and the competitive edge to get ahead of the game in the building world. The way it works, it's pretty simple. I'll explain the parts to build first, lay it out, then time-lapse the building. If you can't keep up, just pause the video and get it right. After every time-lapse, I'm going to explain what I did and why, and we'll also check out Mr. Derek's work as well. As you can see behind me, he's a little bit of a derp. I don't know what he's done. I don't know why he's like that, but he's let me just, before I forget, let me introduce my helper. Derek the Derp, as you can see behind us. He's the worst builder I could find on the internet, so he's perfect for me to show the basics. Now, if you guys think you're as bad as Derek, that's his build back there. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But if you think you're as bad as Derek, perfect. Just follow along, and we will succeed in building together. And you will prove to your friends that you were a elite sick builder. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, guys. I hope you guys are ready. We're gonna start this lesson off. Now, since it is the Teen Titans hey, Derek, why you starting already? Jesus, dude's a madman. Now, Derek, just follow along. Now, since this is a tower, we're going to want to start with a base. So let's get some colors here. I want a black. A black tower would be pretty dope, I'd say myself. So let's go with a Tyrian block. Now, this is modded blocks. You know, if you don't have the modded blocks, just get chisel. And chisel's awesome. It'll allow you to do all the cool stuff that you want to do. Now I know Teen Titans base, I believe, is like normally like blue and like maybe a little bit of white in there, but we're gonna make like a Sith version of a Teen Titans base. So let's go for like a red. I think that'd be pretty sick. Let's go for like a deep red reinforced stained glass. That's gonna look sick. And let's go for a little bit of gray. I want like a gray, red, black kind of theme. I think that would be kind of cool. I believe that's like the newer Teen Titan, the upgraded version pretty much. So that's a glow block. So we want just a normal gray plastic block. Now, obviously we're gonna use some world data here. We're gonna pretty much make and lay out how big the base is gonna be. So this is like step numero uno, essentially. You're gonna want to make it as big as you can as to how big you think you're gonna want it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, say if you want it this big, you're gonna want to lay out a big square like this. And let's just look up the data value at the Tyrian block, 85813. So 85813 is the Tyrian block, and boom, we have our main little base right here. Much better than Derek over there. I'm just kidding, Derek. Hope you're following along. All right, so with our base made, we now have we can pretty much make the skeleton of what's going to go down. So I want like kind of a gray on the inside. So I'm gonna just time lapse the base building here, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna stop and explain what I did. So be right back, guys. Enjoy the time lapse. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I think I progressed enough to kind of show off what I'm trying to do here with the base, and we can go look at Derek's in a second. Yeah. So what I did here is I expanded the bottom bit a little bit because I wanted more room, because the insides it was looking pretty small. So I think that's the same issue Derek's running into over there. He made it a little small, but you can still work with that. It's not too bad. Nothing's too small. Well, I mean, if it's only one block, it's obviously too small. But let me explain what I did here. So basically the base is going to be a flat, just a flat plane pretty much. And then I went inward one and placed the next kind of thing. And then if you can look inside here, there's this black kind of wall structure that goes up, just like it goes up like 9 blocks or so, maybe less than that, 7 or so. But I wrapped the same color block around it, so it's kind of it looks like it's a black structure inside of a carved out kind of gray vibe going on here. But we can even detail a little bit more by adding that right there. We can even put like ridges and holes right there. So anything that like it puts it to the backdrop, say like this block is one further than this one, it's going to create a little bit of depth in there. So depth is good. We want depth, but not too much depth. So like if you're looking at a slab and you want to always keep it simple. So if you have like a black slab and you're trying to make depth and you're going like this and you're doing that and that and this, and then you're expanding it like that, and then expanding this like one more up here. This is kind of like cluttered depth, I guess I can say. It creates depth, but it creates a lot of lines and condescending perpendicular shapes and stuff like that. So you always want to keep it simple. I like to do more of just, I don't really use slabs anymore besides like bases and trim on like rooms. So I try to keep it to like a 1 block kind of thing, and I think that's working out pretty well for the style that I'm trying to go for. So the left side of this building is done. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish this left side, and then I'm going to copy with World Edit and flip it over to this side. Now I'm not going to do the copy World Edit commands. You guys can look that up. But if you do want like a World Edit tutorial or anything like that, some kind of one-off video, I can do like just the most intensive World Edit / Voxel Sniper tutorial if you guys want. Now let's go ahead and check out Derek the Derps over here. So as you can see, he did do the black base on the bottom, but this is what creates the lack of detail, is when he didn't go in one with the blocks. Now this is still salvageable. I know he just went straight up with it, and it's like a flat wall. But now watch this. If you actually take this bottom layer out and put the black wool inward a little bit, that will make the depth that we're trying to go for here. See, you can put that as the backdrop, and then you can it can kind of still work at this size. It's a little small, but you can still see it gives it a little depth, and it looks way more better than like just a flat wall like this. So like compare this detail to that. Now I know it's a very simple scale, but it's now also the window doesn't have any it's not an actual window, so you could just expand that out a little bit, take out and make it like a little cutout for the window, essentially. Like this shape right here is like the little cutout for the window, and you can see right in, and it looks pretty cool. So sorry for trying to edit your build a little bit, Derek, but yeah, you're doing pretty well. Just keep on going with that one. Just keep on following along. I know the size is a little small, but you'll get it eventually. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out here. So I think our next step after this like one base is done, I still have the sloped. I did slopes right here. This is just carpenter slopes. It's just make it more futuristic looking. That's what I like to do my cyberpunk / any kind of tech stuff out of. Just slopes make it look all kind of cool, and it helps with the transition. Instead of going from like 1 block to this 90-degree angle to 1 block, you can kind of smooth that little transition out and add more detail to the in-depth of it, I guess, or the depth of it. So the next part is, since it's a tower, it's pretty much a T shape, so it's going to go obviously straight up, and then it's going to go out left and right at the very top. So the next part is to do the base of it. So, or not the base, but the skyscraper part of it, which is like just a rectangle straight up. Now we got the base done, so the rectangle is basically just going to be like, let me do a little bit of it here just to show you what I'm kind of talking about. Now we can go in, we can go out, but we can go inward a little bit to make it more depth on the outside. But I think I'm going to stick with like this wall right here. We're just going to follow this wall up and just keep on going up. So it's basically going to stay the same depth as the front of the building right here. And I'm going to go inward 2 blocks using the slopes. I'm going to go inward and just do the wall right there. So the wall is going to be right here. I'm going to go ahead and lay out the general idea that I got going on here. So this just goes right here, As you can tell, it only goes in one block on the sides and 2 blocks from the right side of it. So it goes in technically 1 from the base, and then it goes another 2, and then the skyscraper part begins. So we will start the skyscraper, and I want to do another cool designer here, basically just pulling this slope out 1, and then just putting more slabs right there, and then doing a little metal bit. Just so I'll show you what it does here. You just take this metal, and then just to add a little bit more texture difference in here, you don't want a big long section of just one texture. You kind of want to break it up a little bit. That's kind of how I did it with this wall. See, like these grays kind of break up that texture, so it's not just black all the way over here. It's just to break up the texture and add a little flair to it, if you will. So now this slope actually comes out like this, you see. And let me just put another slope right here. I actually want to change this and just make it flow a little better. So this like goes in and then comes out and then goes back in a little bit further than the other one. So let's just make this metal so it like kind of matches. You never want like 2 slopes and then a different texture right there. It just looks kind of weird, but if you clean it up like that, it looks nice and sharp. So now we just want to finish this wall right here. So this is going to be the wall that is just continued up, maybe like 20 or so blocks. But that is how you do the side, and you kind of make it flow and connect into the eventual building right here. Because if you take this and then you stretch it out all the way over here to the other side where it's going to be. So this is the stop off point. Remember, it goes in 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then it'll stop right here. So we're just going to go ahead and make that black. So that is what the bottom of the beginning of the skyscraper part will be. So that is the point that I will time lapse that. So we will get to going on that, and I will check on Derek's build after. So guys, enjoy the time lapse, and I'm going to finish up the base. I'm going to just copy and paste it over and finish it up. So that's going to be the time lapse as well. But the next time I talk, this entire middle part will be done. So I'll see you guys then. Alrighty guys, just to show off for a sec the copy and paste. So basically what I did was copy the left side, flip it over to the right side. That when doing that, you got to redo all the slopes and stuff, because those don't like to copy and paste well. As you can see there, I missed a little bit there. So boom. So basically we continued the wall all the way from the bottom, which is the inside, I guess the barrier wall, we'll just call it the inside barrier wall. And I guess in these blocks would be called maybe the details. So you put all the detail blocks on top of the barrier wall going straight up, and you have depth. So basically, then we're basically just gonna go ahead and select this black square, and I did the window right there, so that's gonna stack up as well. So basically, I want to put maybe do some slopes right here to kind of fill in the more rounded looking shape of that right there. And then we're basically, this is going to be it's probably going to go up all the way to like there. It's going to be very skyscrapery. Is that a word? I have no idea, but let's go ahead and close that in. There's a little bit of details that I missed right here, so let's just detail this side. Remember, these are just detail blocks that go on the barrier wall, and I believe it ends right there. So that right there, it's pretty basic shapes right here. Just a big rectangle, and a skinny one, all going right in the middle, just to kind of keep it a very, very symmetrical build. So all right, so we're gonna basically select this again. I think it already selected it, but we're gonna select it again just to make sure, and then stack it up 40. So boom, slash stack 40, and that makes the thing, it's actually a little tall. So I say we can kind of eyeball it here. I think I'll cut it off like maybe right there. So it'll be a skyscraper all the way, and then we'll cut this off, and the top of it, the top of the T will go on top of this black thing. But basically we have the base of the black skyscraper now. Now all we need to do is detail one side, and then we can copy that side and paste it over. So you always want to start off with a simple shape like a square, maybe with a little bit of detail in the middle like this glass window, and then kind of build on top of it. Now, I know the base is a little bit more complicated because it has all these like separate parts and stuff, but it's essentially the same thing. You start with the square black, and then you just start punching out details, like punched out this window. You either punch inward to do like a window or a detail, and you build outward to add like exterior details like that. So that's mainly the basis of building right here. So, and also, oh, I see Derek has copied his little thing over too, and he's gonna do his skyscraper part, probably following mine, so that's gonna be awesome. We'll see. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Now, I also did this little slope. It made it a little bit rounded. I think it's kind of cool to like break up the kind of metal-y, very sharp edges, and then just has like a little round edge right there. It's to break up the base and the tower here. I'll probably do it at the top too. So, yep, I'm gonna detail this one side of the building, and then I will come back in a sec, guys. So enjoy the time lapse. Alright, so we have the skyscraper portion of the build done. So if we just take a moment and ignore the complete right side of here, I only worked on the left side, so let's explain the left side. After I stacked it up, I think it was like 30 blocks or so, and the middle, I started adding these exterior little blocks right here. And I just did a simple pattern of just 1 to 3 and 3 lines going straight up essentially. And then I started breaking it up with these windows at the top. And this window is like the biggest, and then you go in and I put a window right there, and then I just put a window right there to kind of help out with the corners here. So let's just add, I don't really like that right there, so let's add that back. Now, as you can see at the top, I added these like little extender things. I thought it was like too simple, and I wanted to go out just a little bit more, just so you can kind of put the top on there and it would like flow into the top of the T. So I put these little extenders out there. I just put slopes all the way around. And I mean, this doesn't look bad without slopes either. If you don't have the Carpenter mod, you can just, it still looks round. If you do it, it just doesn't look, like smooth and techy like I like. So that is, if you guys don't want me to use the Carpenter blocks and you want me to keep it more simple, just let me know in the comments. So let's take a look at Derek's, the derp build. Now, he had the right idea. He went straight up with one wall, kind of like a square rectangle, and then he surrounded it in these gray blocks. But the problem he's running into in this build is that there's not too much to break up the middle. So it's basically just one pattern. It's like a checkerboard essentially. So to make it a little bit more detailed and proper, you can just break it up a little bit by destroying that, putting the blocks right there, and then maybe having like a middle section that goes up, and then having like windows to the left and right of it. I think that would be kind of cool. So that kind of like breaks it up a little bit, and then we'll do kind of the same thing right here. We'll do that, and then we'll put a little, essentially what would be like a cap on top of his skyscraper, just to kind of bring it all together and separate it from what's going to be the T. And I completely just ruined his build. I'm sorry, Derek, I ruined your build. I'm sorry. It's right there. I got it. So a little cap on the build. See, now the middle looks much more interesting than just like that bare pattern. So let's compare here. This right here, even with the cap, this like blank pattern broken up a little bit and put windows to make it just a little bit more detailed and something more to work with. So Derek is on the right track. He's on the right track, but he just needs a little bit more practice. And as you can see, the sides of these buildings, I want to keep it rather simple, so I just did like black lines with windows right there, and then kept only 2 big windows that go across the entire thing, and then capped. I mean, I could probably detail with probably this electric block right here. Yeah, I could probably detail it like I can do right there. Just insert little details like that everywhere in there, just to break up the long stretching texture of this black/gray block, just a little bit. But you don't want to kind of overdo it, because overdoing like a flat pattern like that would just make it all bejumbled and kind of weird looking. So you want to have that right balance with like simple And then on compared to like really detailed right here, I like a detailed base and then like kind of a simple tower just to kind of separate it from the detailedness of this, and a little bit more detail on the side, or a little bit less detail on the side. But the front of it has plenty of detail. So it's kind of all to bring your eyeballs to the front instead of the side of the building. So if you look at it like this, what looks more interesting? You're gonna look at the front of the building, you're gonna be like, wow, this thing as a whole, not just like focusing on just one big detailed building. You're focusing on, your eyes are following this detailed structure all the way down, and your eyes are wrapping around here. It just makes it more interesting to look at if everything isn't over detailed. A little bit, not like the front, it's just a little bit less detailed on the side. So which leads us to the next part of the T, which is going to be the top. Now this build is looking pretty sick. I like it a lot so far, and I think it needs a really detailed T to kind of bring it all together. So I think like when you think about the letter T, you think, oh, you go up and then left and right real quick. But I think I'm trying to make it flow, kind of like rounded maybe at the top even. And I think different levels will make it more interesting to look at instead of just a flat T, which is probably what Derek is going to do. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So let me start working on the top. I'll lay out the base of it in the time lapse, and then we will continue and finish the top, and I will show you guys the finished build, minus the interior obviously. So enjoy the time lapse, and I will be right back. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the top of the tower done. So, feast your eyes on the finished, well, not really finished, the finished exterior of Teen Titans Tower. So let's go ahead and swap views over here, and we'll compare Mr. Derek's tower to the big one in a second. So, as you can see, I did put basically just like essentially did like a rectangle on the bottom with glass and black separating it. I'll have to flip the front of it and paste it back here, but I think it'll be fine for now just to show off the front. And I do need to redo the slopes, so it's not completely finished, but you get the idea. So basically what I did, I just put basically a rectangle right there, split it up in boxes, and then I went up and then out like 5, and then this base has like an outward like this one is one more block outward than this level, and that kind of creates like an angle you can see right here, like a 45-degree angle, and it kind of feeds into the rest of the angles on the build. See, like this angle, it's not too important, but it kind of just how it is. Like this angle meets down with this angle right here, so it kind of pulls the build together a little bit, kind of like some like grips. And I also did a similar design on the top here. I did one block in, so it kind of like it goes out and then it goes back in a little bit, just to make it kind of like pointy and more interesting than just flat. See, like if I did this right here, I just made the tower flat, it would be like, it would look like that, and kind of just like it's a little too flat. There should be some kind of there. Even if you just take this block off, it still looks a little better than just that flat block. So let's go ahead and put that slope back there, and we will get back to the showing of off the building. So I put this little top build on here too. I need to hollow out the center, but that's just the top of this was way too flat. I like the flat part right here is alright. I can probably detail a little bit with putting like metal right here, metal sheets or something, but just to break up the top a little bit, I put this little like lookout tower basically on the top. And I also added the windows. It came up from the middle and then out and to the right and left. I think that's what really kind of pulls the T all together, because if you did it separately, it would probably just look disjointed from the actual base of the tower. So, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let's take a look at Derpy's and see how he did following along. So as you can see, he does have the angle right here too, so it's like sharpened at the top and it goes back inward, but obviously he didn't use the slope, so that's fine. And then he put the top on there and it's all black. I like it a lot. Derek did all right. He did okay. I think he followed along pretty nicely. You know, everyone can agree that it's a little smaller than the actual build, but you know, sometimes you got to start small. You got to learn the mechanics, like this wall right here, and then you can start applying them to bigger builds. See, like if you can just get the small mechanics down, say like this wall right here, you can use the magic of world edit to extend that. So as long as you can get, like, you can find patterns that work really well. All you need to do is just make a nice wall pattern like that, or pillar, and then just like stack 4, and then you got yourself a nice little wall. And then you'll have to break it up eventually more. Like as soon as you stack and get that pattern that you like, you can go in and break it up even more. You can put like another tower right here, a flat, but that's obviously a little bit, it looks like kind of an engine actually. Looks pretty cool. But his tower is made. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you want me to do it kind of differently, I did it kind of just fast, and I know I used a lot of world edit here, just to flip and rotate and the slopes. So if you guys want any more different kind of techniques, or you want it simpler, you want it more complicated, you want to do other stuff like something from Courage the Cowardly Dog, some stuff from SpongeBob, I can recreate pretty much whatever you want in Minecraft. Just put your ideas in the comments and I will see what I can do. I'll do a little lesson, and we will also have a little Derpy Derp Derek over here following along and see what he can create. So, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me do some more explaining. Actually, I think that's pretty much it. I think we're done here. I'll have to finish the back of it, and if you guys liked the build, please leave a thumbs up and let me know what I should build next in sort of a tutorial fashion. Now also tell me if you liked the way the time lapses worked, if you want them more vanilla and less world edit, just let me know in the comments. I'm here for you. Whatever you want to see, I will provide. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I don't know what I'm going to call this series, maybe like Pro Building Tips series, so you guys can become famous and millionaires and build wherever you want and get paid to do it. But it's not all about money. If you want to have fun and show off to your friends too, you can do that as well. So you guys have a good day. This is Cannibal Crab / Hyperscale / Pro Builder, and this is Derpy Derek signing out. See you guys later.